Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming. There's a lot that we are doing and will continue to do here. But because we know you need to go to other assignments, we will speak to you very briefly and then carry on with the exercises we are doing here. First of all, I hope that all of you will get a brief moment and be briefed here about what our police officers led by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations have been able to do, the arrest of, the confiscation of this machine, the packaging of, counterfeit goods, and so on and so forth. You will see the sugar for yourselves, and you will see what we are talking about. You are aware that a month ago, His Excellency the President directed an operation to commence to deal with economic crimes in the country. I came here this morning to receive a briefing on how this is going and to prepare for the next stage of also briefing the President. It is shocking when you look at some of the things that we have discovered. Shocking. Let me be very frank with you. It's shocking what we are doing to our country and what we are doing to ourselves. I must start by saying how grateful I am as a Kenyan citizen and how proud I am as a Cabinet Secretary for Interior with the work that my colleagues have been able to do. The team that the President put together, chaired by Mr. Wanyama Musiambo, our Deputy Head of Public Service, our DCI, Mr. Kinoti, and his huge team of very competent officers, you can see to my right, have been working hard on this for the last 1 month. A lot of arrests have been done. We have had some people taken to court. More work is going to be done. I don't have to discuss details. As I always say, security issues are not to be discussed in great detail at press conferences such as this. But as I said, I am shocked personally at what we are doing to our country. Right from what you're seeing here, the counterfeit sugar, the adulteration of fuel that is going on in some, that has happened in some parts of our country, the level of criminality involved is mind-boggling. That we can do this, that there are people in our society who live this way, who make their money by moving around goods that they know for sure are poisonous, are injurious to our health. And our teams have conducted the necessary surveys, the necessary scientific study of what we have collected. And I want to be frank with the people of Kenya that we have to change the way we live, and we have to tell some of our colleagues we can no longer live this way. We are not going to be polite about this. When you are distributing chemicals, you are selling Kenyans poison that you are purporting to be sugar, and you're making money out of it, you are engaged in murder on a mass scale. And this white-collar crime has continued in our country for a long time. We have firm and clear instructions from the President. And I am here first to assure my colleagues and the DCI that you have the President's 100% support. I am under firm instructions from the President to accord you maximum support in terms of budget resources, in terms of institutional support. And my role as the President's program officer in charge of this particular sector of our government, I am here to assure you we will go the whole hog. This is not your usual type of things you have been hearing around. We will investigate, we will come back. This is a different ball game. Take it from me. And for those who have been making phone calls and threatening people and doing all this, let me tell these officers in your hearing, and I want to say this in the hearing of the country, we are not deluded that we are engaged in a very serious war. We are under no illusion. I am not under any illusion that we are engaged in a very serious war. a word that could mean anything. It could mean even the lives of some of these officers. And it could mean even the lives of some of us. But let me tell you quite clearly, we're ready. There are people who gave up their lives for this country to be independent. They did not lose their lives in vain. They did not shed their blood in vain, so that we get ourselves to where we are today, where we have people in our midst who are selling poison, sabotaging our economy. The revenue reductions that we have seen in our country, the revenue losses we have suffered as a country, are partly because of this kind of nonsense, this kind of crime. So we are ready for that journey. We will go the whole hog. And we ain't started. You ain't seen nothing yet. It's going to be rough. Let's all be prepared. Put on your safety belt. It's going to be tough. And we are prepared to go. These officers who are here, that's what we are spending time on. We are putting in more resources. We are putting in more support to this team. And we are proceeding. Safari hii, we have to come to an end to this business. It is hurting our economy. It is hurting our health. It's hurting all of us. There are many, many opportunities, innumerable opportunities to make a clean living. We will not have this in our country. And as I said again, we have firm instructions from the President to proceed without fear, without favor, and to spare no effort. So in the coming weeks, as we move forward, you are going to see even much more stiffer work on this. Our security team is mobilized sufficiently to do this, and we are moving on. And lastly, I want to tell those who have been engaging in this, because we have sufficient information. Some of you, we are coming for you. But if you know you have been doing some of this, you know you are running factories that are doing this, you probably need to do good to yourself by turning yourself up before we arrive. Because we will. We will come all parts of the country where we have sufficient information. Some of this is happening. We have several operations going on right now. As I said in Busia last week, we have an operation going on the adulteration of fuel, and it's going to continue in a very stiff manner. And we have several operations going on at different sites in the country. So my brothers and sisters, as good stewards, as people who have been entrusted this wonderful country by God, let us look after this country for our children and our children's children. Those of us who happen to be in leadership, our responsibility today is to ensure that we do the right thing for our country. That is going to require courage. We have it. That's going to require focus. We are decided about this. And that is going to require solid support. And we have it in sufficiency from our president. Our president is committed about this. You have heard what he has said several times, and the president's resolve cannot be second-guessed, and the work has now begun. So we made several arrests. We're going to make more, and we will continue to process all these things according to the law, as we are expected to do. And we will move on. Even as I speak to you this morning here, we have several teams out in the field that are making raids in areas where we know this is happening. Lastly, I want to urge my colleagues in the public service, wherever you are, whether you work at the Kenya Revenue Authority or the anti-counterfeit agency at the Kenya Bureau of Standards, let's be honest with one another. That time has now come for us to have a come to Jesus with everyone. Let's face each other and do what must be done. This business cannot go on in our country forever. If you know you are making money through these kind of things, you know you are being bribed to do these kind of things, that time has now come for each of us to do some soul searching. And if you cannot do the work that you have been asked to do, just leave. Because as the president says all the time, there are plenty of people in this country who can do the work that needs to be done. Because the fact that somebody is running a thriving industry doing this is evidence that there's someone somewhere who's not doing their work.